That's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind.
From the heart of Appalachia, located under a shopping mall near the city that moves mountains, you're listening to Here to Chew Bubblegum.
Greetings.
I've come here to chew bubblegum kick ass, and I'm all out of bubblegum.
Hi, Flockers. So can I say something really quick?
Yes, please, by all means, go right ahead.
We do Flocker Flick Fridays, right? And every Friday night we watch a movie. I pick a ball out of a thing. There's like a hole, and we like pick a movie and we watch it. And it's fun because we all go and Zoom in the comments while we're watching the movie. So we picked They Live last week. So we watched They Live. So can I just say that what a fantastically horrible movie. Okay, the editing is fucking terrible. The whole fight scene in the street, like really just put the sunglasses on for a second. Like worst case scenario, you're gonna wear sunglasses for a second, then you can take them off. Best case scenario, dude's gonna be right, and you can like go along and fight this. There didn't need to be a 20-minute fucking fight scene in the alley over sunglasses. Anyway, but I wanted to tell you that I officially know where the I have come here to kick ass and chew bubblegum and I am all out of bubblegum comes from.
Let me ask you a question about that, okay? Yeah. Even though, I mean, it's not one of John Carpenter's best films. I mean, and I'm going to be honest. But when you watch that, and it was like, I think 86 or 87 is when it was filmed.
It came out in 88. We look all this up. So it came out in 88, and that was one of the conversations we had. Like, the fact that this movie came out in 88 and it is still fucking relevant and holy shit. And then there was this one thing. So Shitmast and I have been on this whole glitter conspiracy, right? That glitter is like disappearing. So the
kitty glitter.
Yeah, right. So the one scene they were like panning through like the TVs, and the one commercial that played was like, and we're all out of glitter. I'm sorry, what?
Really?
Yes. Like I even typed it in the comments. I was like, did y'all catch that? Yeah, go back. And that's why we do like the Flocker Flick Fridays. And some of them are new movies that just came out that we haven't seen, right?
Right.
And some of them are like older movies like this one. And it's so interesting to go back and watch these movies now with this different perspective and the rose-colored and it's not a movie like we're watching it to because everything is right in front of your face. They tell you the truth about everything. So it's been interesting to go back and watch these movies now with this different perspective and go, holy shit.
I'm still waiting to know if Mel Gibson kept his job.
Well, I mean, people, once they figure out, I mean, because people that, I mean, like I wear my Here to Chew Bubblegum shirt everywhere pretty much. And they're like, oh, I love that. And I'm like, and some people know the podcast Here to Chew Bubblegum and radio show. And some people think it is a They Live shirt. And I'm like, well, did you listen? They're like, what are you talking about? It's the movie. But then I start telling them how we come up with a name for the podcast and radio show, and that how a lot of the stuff in that movie is happening now in today's life, and it's relevant. And they're like, holy shit, that's a great name for a, what you guys do. I'm like, well, thank you very much. And it is a lot better name than, hey, wait a minute, Doc, which is what I was going, and that was a Back to the Future reference. But, I mean, hell, it just all comes together. I mean.
So, yeah, I wanted to tell you that I officially,
Good.
watched the movie from start to finish all the way through.
Now, when he says, I have come here to chew bubblegum and kick ass, and I'm all out of bubblegum, that is the best line in a movie ever. I mean, that is like number one on my top 5, I mean, because once you hear that, and that's just stuff that Roddy Piper had just wrote down in a notebook. That wasn't in the script. He ad-libbed that, and that was just like fucking brilliant. So I want to apologize to our listeners and viewers that do watch the YouTube show. Episode 105 has not been posted yet. I've had internet problems. I will try to get 105 and 106 both up this week. I'll be posting on Here to Chew Bubblegum Facebook page when those are up. Ship Mess, I also apologize to you because you sent me a police video earlier in the week through text, and I've not had time to be able to watch it yet and respond. In all fairness, it goes back to my internet problems that we were talking with before. I could not get the damn thing to play. So, and I did notice it was playing this morning. So I will get back to you on that as soon as possible. Dirtydan, why do you have that little smirk on your face for?
Oh, I'm not smirking, but my one buddy showed up to go check his trail cams, and the dogs are swarming him, and the chickens are running around.
Oh, well, hey. So,
I mean, he's got to know what he's walking into, but he comes.
Oh yeah, he did. He's over there playing with the dogs right now.
Okay.
How are the horses?
The horses are doing good. They're doing good. The first couple days were a little rough, but you know, they're getting settled in. They're doing much better. They are calming down from baby dragon level.
Right.
So,
well,
you know, I'm giving them an extra scoop of mirror magic, so hopefully that'll calm their asses down.
Did you guys, we have a voicemail from Sean. Do you want me to play that first before we start listener email? Because he has a question for all of us. And
Sure.
it's actually a very interesting parallel that I've never really connected until he brought it up. Let me go over here. Give me 1 second. Let me click on it. Let's see. Hold on 1 second. Talk amongst yourselves. Here we go. All right, here it is.
Hey guys, been a while since I called in. I was thinking about how y'all was talking about how Hollywood and all them's in on this whole human trafficking thing. And I was thinking back to a movie that came out in 2019, Rambo: Last Blood. Personally, I thought it was a good movie. I noticed Rotten Tomatoes gave it 26%, but the audience score gave it an 81. For those of y'all who haven't seen the movie, I ain't gonna spoil nothing for you. But it's pretty much Rambo's niece gets kidnapped by the Mexican cartel and goes into sex slavery. And it touches on some real world issues, and I tell you, they really do not spare the details. I mean, it's a relatively sad film, and I don't know, I just thinking, well, that's such a big thing in Hollywood. I really believe that's the reason it was given such a poor review. I'd like to hear your all's thoughts on it. Maybe I'm simply overthinking this, but that film really tackles some major real-world issues. Oh, in the real world, your uncle ain't gonna show up and get you. I mean, that's... I don't know. I was like to let y'all think about it. Am I just overthinking this, or are there really some parallels to it?
And Sean, thank you very much for leaving us that voicemail. Dirtydan, well, first, have you guys saw the movie? Okay, Dirtydan, neither are you have. It was the last Rambo film. I mean, and Sean is pretty much correct, and I didn't realize that when I watched the movie. But I mean, he's right on target with it. It definitely. I don't think it did any good at the box office as well. But I mean, he's right. It, definitely showcases what is going on in the world today as far as entertainment and, sex trafficking and so forth and all that. So, Sean, I think you're right. If anybody's watching now on Twitch, please feel free to type in your comment and let us know what you think, and we'll read that during this
Is it any
segment.
different from the movie Taken? Because that's kind of like where I went with it. Like, I mean, obviously, like the Mexican cartel,
Yeah.
it was Iranians or
Yeah.
from France.
They
were in Europe, right? But same concept. And
Yeah.
that,
Exactly.
yes. And I do agree with him. I do agree that, it got poor reviews and didn't do as well, probably because it was so accurate and truthful about shit. But I mean, that just goes, all of the movies, there's only 7 plot points. So you can only make so many movies.
You are correct. Let Let's see. This comment, I haven't seen it. But
Is
it makes
my
sense.
camera just like glitching to anyone else?
It is. I see it. Just go with it.
I think it looks fine, big man.
Stop fucking with it. It was fine. And,
Let's see.
all right.
Let's jump on to email. Dirty Dan, you want to take the first email for us?
We have our wonderful Dixon09 right again. It says, hey, everyone. I came across a website. You can take it for what it's worth. I've never heard you guys mention it, but wanted to share it all with y'all. Fellow Roswellers and Flock members. The name of the site is beforeitwas.com. They have some really good articles on there. Basically, it reports the facts of a news story before the deceptive media outlets get a hold of it. Some may claim it's a tabloid site, but I think it's legit. Roswell. P.S. Bones' political ads were great on last week's show.
Well, thank you very much, Dixon09. Have you guys been on that site? Have you heard of it? I had not heard of it until...
I just typed it in, and it says that the domain is for sale for $2,800.
Really?
Yeah, look.
Before it was news, let's see, beforeitwas.com. Try beforeitwasnews.com because I was on it earlier before. Shit.
Okay.
Before it was news. Try that.
Let's try those.
Because I had not heard about it until he sent this email in, and I got on and checked it out. And
so beforeitwasnews.com is not at all what you think it is, Goose.
okay, shit. Well, the site has went down since Tuesday, since last Tuesday. That is wow. My mind's kind of blown. Let me see. Let me try. Wow.
Before it's news. Okay, let's try that.
Okay. Yeah.
Before it's news.
That might have been it. So I copied and pasted that. So I don't know why I had. There we go.
Okay.
There we go. And I did get on there and check it out.
I was like, this is going to be a whole nother rabbit hole here in a second.
Well, that's the same thing I was thinking when it wouldn't pop up. But so it's beforeitsnews.com. I mean, it is. And Dixon's right. You know, some of the stuff is tabloid, does look like tabloid type stuff, but you click on some of these and you can find some of the articles that are and news stories that are like today going out, but this one has like a whole different spin on it as well. So, you know, everyone get on there and check that out. It was before, what was it before?
I'm going to drop it's beforeitsnews.com.
Okay.
I dropped it in the comments.
All right. And Dixon, I apologize because I copy and paste all these and send them out to everyone. So evidently I fubbed that one up somewhere. So I'm sorry about that. But yeah, again, thank you very much, Dixon. Beforeitsnews.com. And I'd never heard of it. You know, I mean, I was thinking, man, how strange it is that he sent this in and we're, you know, getting to talk about it and it wasn't coming up. So,
Right?
Before Rebecca reads this next one, Dirty Dan, you want to give a little backstory on this for those that could be new or have forgot?
So,
Yeah, I don't even remember.
I mean, Adam was around before we were.
Yes. Well, he actually, I think his first email was on the show that the Spooky Family did for us way back.
Yeah, and what was that? December of 2020?
Maybe.
End of November, beginning of December?
I think it was that. No, it would have been in 2021. I think it may have been in the springtime or summer. It was before the Spooky Family actually did their first podcast. So.
But you and Cronkite were out of the office, and I had actually commented on it, thinking it would be funny if when Elliot Spooky was talking about it and making the light of you guys not actually being tied up in the back of the car. I commented on that. That was amusing. But so Adam has a very interesting, for lack of a better word, relationship with some sort of powers that be, and whose grandfather was evidently a very high up person in the NASA organization. And I believe his grandfather recently passed when he first wrote in. Or shortly after he first wrote in. And then his second time writing in was letting us know that he passed. and he has gone through some stuff, and he's a very hard man to get a hold of.
Oh yes, yes, yeah.
Very hard, very, very hard.
And he just writes every now and then. I mean, this is like his third email, and
it's like once every 6 months,
or probably more than that. And I'm going to address a comment real quick. Karma says, hell, seems like the tabloids tell more truth than, I guess, MSN and, mainstream media. And I've always said that from the get-go. Now, Rebecca, take Adam's email, and we'll let you get started with it. And this is, when I first read this email before she reads it, it made the hairs on the back of my neck stand up. I had to go back and read it again and again and again. And then I'm like, okay, well, that actually is pretty cool. So
I haven't read it yet, but I did see here that it's mentioning some map that I'm trying to see if I can find. But I can't.
Oh no, that
you won't find it.
No, you won't find it. That is for the app where we're on Pandora. We can click on and see. Well, we were able to click on before they changed.
I went another way with it. Never mind, because I did find something, but we'll do that later. Okay, this is an email from Adam. Hello, this is Adam. I've written in before. My grandfather worked and retired from NASA. As I mentioned the first time that I wrote in, he told me things that were reported during the first moon mission. Grandfather said what was reported and what happened are two different things. I wrote a second time sometime later. My reason for this time is that I was re-listening to some older episodes, and Goose mentioned that someone near Area 51 shown up, I believe he said, on the Pandora map. Okay, like Pandora, the radio station.
Yes.
I'm sure that you know it without me saying it, but they are listening to you. They listen to every episode and are well aware with you. Some other listeners and anyone that has ever been on the show, I can't tell you how I know this, but take it as an honor that you're in the same category as other shows they listen to as well. They listen to less than 50. And only do that with shows that have large audiences or credible for being truthful at guessing or stating what's really behind false reports. Here to Chew Bubblegum has both. Take care. Keep doing what you're doing.
And that even, as you read it, the hairs on the back of my neck they were standing up again.
That feeling, we went over this when I was talking with Rachel, that feeling is called frisson. And it's happened like when you listen to music or like when you hear something and your body physically responds and then you get goosebumps.
Oh, that's every truck I hear with straight bumps.
Well,
yeah, I know.
Anybody that I'm around gets goosebumps.
And I wonder, like, you're right, that does tie into our internet issues because lately. Yeah. And the other thing that's been happening, so it happened with me, it happened with Dirtydan, it happened with Amy, and it happened on my lives and with Shit Mess. There have been like certain things that we've talked about that would not come up in regular conversation. They're not daily things that we're talking about. I read something to Dirtydan and it was like a joke about something about being slapped by like a California taco or some shit.
California burrito.
A California burrito. He literally comes out. I was dealing with the dogs. He comes out of the house. He goes, "Look what's on my fucking For You page."
It was the first video up.
Yeah. And so I was like, damn. And then we were talking about MASH in my live the other day. Remember playing MASH where like you would pick all the things? And I was like, oh my God, we should like do one that's way better and like more relevant. Like you now live in the woods surrounded by fairies and talk to plants. But opened up my For You page and sure as shit, there's a fucking TikTok game that like you pick your car and your house and the dog and like how many kids. And then we were talking about they are listening. They are fucking listening. Because it's been these weird things that, again, like haven't talked about or like first time talking about it. And now all of a sudden it's up on my For You page.
Well, and I was talking to Rebecca before the show about going to see my Snap-on guy. And I opened my phone up to get it set up. And in the internet browser, never seen this before in this browser whatsoever. There it is. Snap-on Tools, start your own franchise. I'm like, what the fuck?
And it's like, it's getting to the point where like we know that you think that you know that we know. Like we know. We see you, see us. We're aware.
So I mean that's just, and people that listen, it seems like, that they know who you are. And anyone that has ever been on the show, seems like, they're aware of who you are. I mean, and when she read it again, that, like I said, that made the hair on the back of my neck again stand up. And I don't remember. That was not long. That's probably a year ago after we got on Pandora. And I've not been on the map in a while to look at it on the Pandora map.
This part, like, they listen. Take it as an honor that you're in the same category as other shows they listen to as well. They listen to less than 50 and only do that with shows that have a large audience or credible for being truthful at guessing or stating what is really behind false reports. I've always said this.
And we have both.
Yes.
And we have both.
I want to be at the top. I want to be at the top of the list. If I'm going to be on a list, I want to be at the top.
Well, hey, there you go. You know, I mean, and that's and there's been things before, you know, that has went freaky with my phone, where it sounded like something like there was a third party in and there was static. I know what telephone bugs sound like, you know, when you legally use one, and that was the same thing that happened before. I'd never mentioned that to anyone because, you know, some of that stuff that I'm associated with, you know, it freaks people out. But, you know, we're on here every single week doing what we do. And to me, the best place, and this goes back to Mr. Bob Lazar, be truthful, be public, be known, you know, so.
At this point, like, if you're going to watch, at least you're entertained.
Exactly. Dirty Dan, did you have anything to add to that before I move on to the next email?
I did, and then I watched it go fleeting out of my head.
Oh, no. Sorry. But Adam, thank you very much. Adam, please, if you're able to, and there's several ways to do it. What's that?
Can we get that list? I want to know.
Well, I would.
Are we gonna have a Bruce Almighty moment with Rebecca where she goes out and just gets on her knees and goes, "List me, Almighty listers, list me."
Hey, possibly, Adam. But if you are listening, if there is a way to get the list, if there's a way to let us know more information, please think of.
Like, can we have a conversation?
Please,
can we get you on the show?
Please, we would love to have you on the show, Adam. Please think of some way to actually do that. So, you know, moving on to the next email. Reed says, "Hey, Goose, Dirtydan, and Rebecca. I don't know if you've heard or not, but yesterday George Knapp reported that the home of Jorge Arnu in Nevada and another home of his in Las Vegas, he was served with warrants and raided by the FBI. Arnu runs a website devoted to all things Area 51. He supposedly had a photo or photographs and other material. Why do you think they did that for, Roswell?" Thank you very much, Reed. I do know who that is. I've been on his website. I think his website is Dreamland Ranch Resort or Dreamland Resort. Let me look really quick.
Probably the same reason they did that is the same reason they did Mar-a-Lago.
Well, he evidently, and I'd done a little research on this after he sent that in. Let's see, Dreamland Resort, maybe. Yes, Dreamland Resort.
Jesus Christ. Can we look at the last comment? So my best friend's baby daddy is George Knapp's nephew. I just
really?
read that real quick. I'm like,
that is awesome. My best friend's baby daddy is George Knapp. That is awesome. You know, George is awesome. You know, if it wasn't for George Knapp, there would be no Bob Lazar. He's the one that took the Bob Lazar story for, you know, that got the call, did the investigation, took it for real. Now, this website, I actually go to this website quite a lot, and I did not know that they had raided his house and took stuff. When you do a little research on it, he even states that they took a lot of his materials, hard drives, documents, you name it, they took it. I think they did that because he is on the right path. You know, as
far as I'm concerned, I would be fighting that in the grand jury as an illegal search and seizure, because I all I briefly looked at was the warrants, and the warrants have no sound justification.
Now, see, I didn't look at the actual warrants. What did they specify what they were going to take and where they were going to look?
that had that whole legal jargon so
Yeah.
that they could literally go in there and they could take the shirt off his back for evidence if they wanted to.
Okay. Now, see,
And it was literally circumstantial evidence on a whim of legal justification.
okay. Now, there's a lot of people that don't realize when you're served with a search warrant. Let's say if Dirtydan, where he is a diesel mechanic, if he had a ring going where he was stealing cars, and they came in his garage or whatever, and they were going to look for stolen cars, that means the only place they can look is areas where cars would fit into. They can't open desk drawers. They can't open lockers. They can't open closets. And a lot of people don't realize that. If it does not specify where to look, and let's say, you had Dirtydan doing that, and he had a boatload of cash in a drawer with drugs or guns or whatever. If they seize that,
that's an illegal search and seizure.
That is an illegal search and seizure. They would have to give him that back, and that in turn opens him up for a huge lawsuit because your warrant has to specify what you're looking for and where you can look at.
And correct me if I'm wrong, Goose, but I believe that after the fact that they have to give it back, I cannot get in any trouble pertaining to anything they found outside of search warrant parameters, nor can they charge me for that after.
No. You are correct. But I mean, for them to take his stuff, I've always thought that site was honest, relevant, and just full of information.
Rebecca, I bet you he was number one on the list.
Oh, yeah, I was getting ready to address that. So, let's see.
I'm just clicking.
See, you found a new website. So I want to thank everyone for writing in, leaving voicemails. You can always do that by calling 606-373-3396. That's 606-373-3396. Or they can email. How can they do that? Dirtydan.
You can hit us up at goose@heretotchewbubblegum.com, dirtydan@heretotchewbubblegum.com, or flockingqueen@gmail.com.
You are correct. Well, you guys good to move on to segment one for just a little bit because we got like two things we're going to talk about. Well, actually three, but two of them's together. Are you guys good? Okay.
Let's get her done.
Dirtydan, in case anybody says there's an elephant in the room, we'll let you open up segment one and explain to everyone what happened, what's going on, what we're going to do from here on out, and so forth.
So, it came in an email, I believe it was last week, and it's still, I guess I'm being a complete adult about the situation, more so than some of the people that were part of it, and we were referencing Adventures with Purpose, specifically the remaining founder, Jared Lysick. Rebecca and I were also talking about this before. So I'll start off with, he has been accused of raping a child in Utah 30 years ago. However, news titles misleading the mainstream media. He was also still a child, although an older one, a child.
Wasn't he actually 17?
He was 16 and 17. They failed to mention the 16 part, but just focus on the 17. That's nothing to condone. That's not a behavior to ever, be proud of or be okay with. However, I got some real strong feelings based on his own emails that have been leaked. And 30, the whole situation irritates me. The thing I want to get across first before I let Rebecca talk for a minute, is that disassociate if you are already made up your mind, disassociate him from the group. I have the mission. I have. There's an outpouring of fans that have rallied behind everybody else and whatnot, and everybody is still asking, to not give up. So many families, communities still need them. You got to keep continuing to fight the good fight you're doing. The poor actions of one person are diluted by overwhelming good. You and the team have brought so many people. Stay strong and be hopeful the situation works itself out and move forward. Be positive knowing whatever happens from this, we hope it brings some closure and justice to someone else who may have endured awful things in their life. It just everybody, the majority of people are still rallying behind the greater good of the cause. And I believe that is what needs to be focused on, because there's still a team and other people that have come and gone before that are more than capable of, and will hopefully regroup and continue on, because there are still, and I'm not trying to do anything by this, but there are still adventures with a purpose that need to get done. There are still people who are left hoping or in the dark with no answers, and communities, friends, families, loved ones. There are still people that need the help of a group like that. With that being said, I encourage everyone to do their own research on this as well if they have any questions about it before they make an unjustified opinion on it. The whole statute of limitations pretty much being erased, I think is bullshit, but that just goes along with our terrible judicial system. In the emails that are showed for the last decade and a half, he has tried to make peace with himself, with the whole situation, and move on from it. There was a spectacle made by a different family member and about it, and just made things worse. He was a victim himself. You have to understand, 30 years ago, being a Mormon in Utah, I'm not trying to make an excuse, but these are all environmental factors and surroundings that play all into the situation. He was a victim of it himself. Mormonism in Utah, which is why he ended up leaving the country for a brief time to clear his head, soul search, and do that sort of thing, and came back and got away from that area and called Oregon his home then. Again, I'm not defending him. I have no reason to put any allegations against him, or not simply stay neutral until any and everything has been decided. There's just a lot of fishy shit about this. And, they're the ones that solved and found the Kylie Rodney case. And then suddenly, bam, this comes out. What's going to happen with the whole Gabby Petito case? Is one of those cops going to get accused of something from 30, 40 years ago? Because a lot of them were older now. I'm apprehensive about it. And that's based on my research I've done. Just if you, and doing the research about this will lead you to see all the good the group has done. I'm not saying that if he is guilty, that everything else he's done excuses it. I'm just not entirely sure, because I haven't seen enough, and I don't know the evidence, the circumstantial evidence that's been presented with it, and we probably won't, at least for a while. It's just sad.
Well, yes, it is. And, I'm sure there's no doubt that you've researched it more than I have. With that,
I'll tell you this. The man has no attorney. because he's faced it with nothing to hide. He has turned over any and every piece of communication and instance that he has for it.
Right.
So right off the bat, he's not lawyering up. He's not trying to hide. He's not trying to fight. He's not trying to run. He's trying to make sure that the 100% truth is told from his side. Whatever the outcome may be, it's his truth.
And you and Rebecca both may have noticed that I took them out this week with the format. I'll leave that entirely up to you if you want to give them a shout out, whatever you want to do. I don't judge anyone. I do have opinions on certain people. To me, the two things I can't forgive is if you hurt children or old people in any way whatsoever. I cannot forgive those. I've been stabbed in the back a lot. We had, a guy that used to come in and hang out on the show that, I was trying to help to stab me in the back. At the same time, when you're doing good, really good, people do try to knock you down. I'm not saying that is the case here. Not at all. But I'm just saying be and have an open mind when you hear certain things. Don't jump to conclusions. As Dirtydan said, do your own research because people will try to knock you down, and that happens all the time. And, I guess that's it. Rebecca, what's your thoughts?
I want to address a comment real quick from Mike. Very convenient that they land exactly where the bodies are. I don't think you've watched enough of their older stuff then. Out of 220 cases that they've tried to solve, they've only solved 26 of them. It's just that those 26, they've come closer and closer together because they've got it for doing longer. Technology has increased. They've got more resources and whatnot. Again, I'm not trying to defend him. I'm sticking with that greater purpose that still has those adventures. But yeah, and like the Rodney case, and then boom, now allegations. They've had more success over the last 2.5 years than they have any time before that because they've had more of their message spread. More people are aware. More people have been able to come together and help them donate. The success rate is not high, Mike. So just, you can have your opinion. I have no problem with that. That is your opinion, but just keep in mind statistics there. They're at an 18% ratio. So,
and real quick before I let the Queen share her thoughts, and I'm just going to throw this out there. You can take it for what it's worth. When the O.J. Simpson thing first happened, and I'm sure everybody knows about, O.J. Simpson and the 2 people dead and so forth, I cheered when he was found, not guilty. And I honestly believe that he was set up with everything that had been reported. Now, with that being said, about 5 years later, I was in a training class because I had went from radio to law enforcement over that time. And Philip Van Adder was a speaker at this training class I had. And he brought in pictures, bagged things that were evidence that never got introduced. And one of the things that was never introduced is the knife that they think actually killed, was used. There was a box found on O.J. Simpson's bathroom counter where it had just been bought brand new. There was blood all over the sink. There was bloody clothes. All this stuff was never presented as evidence. So after hearing all that he had, where he had worked the scene based on what the media had reported, I changed my mind. I'm like, he's guilty. He did that. He got away with murder. Because I was judging, not judging. I was basing my opinion on what the media had told us and not the actual big picture, the actual facts.
Right.
Rebecca, what's your thoughts on Jared and AWP?
I have a lot of thoughts on it, and I struggle with a lot of this in many ways, because I feel like just with anything, there's always those that blow it out of proportion. There's always those that heavily play that victim card, right? Because they see the attention that other people are getting, and they see the benefits of actually following through with things that do need to be taken care of with certain consequences. But, and like, I struggled with the whole like Bill Cosby thing too. And like, you know, all of the sudden 45 fucking women from 10 years ago now, like I struggle with the timing of it. That's my biggest thing. That's what's suspicious to me is, like, I understand that rape is serious, and I understand that there are some fucking asshole people in the world that do go after women and young girls and do this. But I feel like things like this take away from the seriousness of those things that are actually happening right now that nobody's talking about because it's been considered to be taboo, or when it does come out, it gets blown out of proportion. So for 30 years ago, when they were 16, 17, and 9 and 10 was the girl. Okay, so now we're going to completely destroy this guy's life because he was an asshole teenager. If I went after every guy that was an asshole teenager, I dated 18-year-olds when I was 15, 100%. I dated guys that were older than me. For actually, Dirtydan's the first time that I've been with somebody younger than me by a couple months. But the point is, like, this is gonna get real personal real quick. There were so many times where no and not wanting to got persuaded on me. I got peer pressured into it. So yeah, I did say no. Technically, if we go by that technicality, then yes, I was raped. I was forced into it. There were all of these circumstances that I can think back to where, damn, that's towing the line a little bit. I also got into it with my ex-husband. I remember I had to go back to the house to get some of my stuff, and I was talking to Dirtydan on the phone, and I was like, I don't want to go back. He's not supposed to be here. He threw my phone in the kitchen, down the stairs, so it landed in the kitchen. I was upstairs getting stuff out of the room. I didn't know that he was supposed to be there. There was a 45-minute wrestling match with my ex-husband because he was trying to fucking rape me because he thought that that's what I wanted. So, like, I struggle with the timing. I struggle with 30 years ago, you're going to remember, like, did you fight him off? Was it like a pursuant thing? Like, or was it just, oh no, I don't want to, but you did it anyway? I struggle with the whole thing. I struggle with the fact that now this is being blown out of proportion because now they're in the news, because now they're famous. Now they're actually making success. Now they're actually doing these things. Now all of a sudden, do you want a cut of that? Is that what this is? Is this being blown? I struggle, and I feel like both sides of the story need to be heard before anything gets decided on. But everybody's already made these assumptions and these accusations and blowing everything else out of the water. The timing is what bothers me.
And it just feels like to me that someone's own greed is about or is jeopardizing and ruining the chance for a whole lot of other people's closure.
Yeah.
And I totally agree with you. And I'll throw something else at you. Before I do, if you want to pull it up, Rebecca, I just sent a video to the Telegram thing that me and you and Dirtydan are in. If you want to pull that up and maybe play it here in just a second, it's like 3 minutes. There was a video that was sent to me about 2 weeks ago. It's from an officer in Oklahoma that I had heard of, but I had forgot about it. His name is Daniel Holtzclaw, and he was given, like, I think 2 life sentences, because he was an officer, stopped and forced himself and raped a bunch of women. Now, I did research on this, and you watch certain news clips, and you're like, oh, man, yes, he done that. He's 100% guilty. You watch independent ones that independent people have done, there's a lot behind the scenes that was not reported. From the research that I've done on this guy, I don't have an opinion on him, on if he done this or not. Did you get that video, Rebecca?
I have it ready whenever you are.
Now this video, for those of you you might not saw it. It's called T consent. But this actually applies. They have made this video. It's been out for years with consent. With if you're in a relationship with someone, or if you're dating someone, or whatever. But this applies to everyday life as well. If you don't care, Rebecca, go ahead and play that.
Imagine instead of initiating sex, you're making them a cup of tea. You say, "Hey, would you like a cup of tea?" And they go, "Oh my God, I would love a cup of tea. Thank you."
What happened?
Then you know they want a cup of tea. If you say, "Hey, would you like a cup of tea?" And they're like, "I'm not really sure," then you could make them a cup of tea or not, but be aware that they might not drink it. And if they don't drink it, then, and this is the important bit, don't make them drink it. Just because you made it, it doesn't mean you're entitled to watch them drink it. And if they say, "No, thank you," then don't make them tea. That's all. Just don't make them tea. Don't make them drink tea. Don't get annoyed at them for not wanting tea. They just don't want tea, okay? They might say, "Yes, please, that's kind of you." And then when the tea arrives, they actually don't want the tea at all. Sure, that's kind of annoying as you've gone through all the effort of making the tea, but they remain under no obligation to drink the tea. They did want tea, now they don't. Some people change their mind in the time it takes to boil the kettle, brew the tea, and add the milk. And it's okay for people to change their mind, and you're still not entitled to watch them drink it. And if they're unconscious, don't make them tea. Unconscious people don't want tea. And they can't answer the question, "Do you want tea?" because they're unconscious. Okay, maybe they were conscious when you asked them if they wanted tea and they said yes. But in the time it took you to boil the kettle, brew the tea, and add the milk, they are now unconscious. You should just put the tea down, make sure the unconscious person is safe, and this is the important part again, don't make them drink the tea. They said yes then, sure, but unconscious people don't want tea. If someone said yes to tea, started drinking it, and then passed out before they'd finished it, don't keep on pouring it down their throat. Take the tea away. Make sure they are safe, because unconscious people don't want tea. Trust me on this. If someone said yes to tea around your house last Saturday, that doesn't mean they want you to make them tea all the time. They don't want you to come around to their place unexpectedly and make them tea and force them to drink it going, "But you wanted tea last week." Or to wake up and find you pouring tea down their throat going, "But you wanted tea last night." If you can understand how completely ludicrous it is to force people to have tea when they don't want tea, and you are able to understand when people don't want tea, then how hard is it to understand when it comes to sex?
Dear God.
Now,
Myself a cup of tea.
like I said, that was made specifically for sexual consent, but the story of it applies to pretty much everything and everyday life. That. So,
I love it. I hate it. I want to laugh. I want to cry. Well, it's just all of the emotions.
Yeah, and there is parts of it that you're meant to laugh. Yeah.
Don't shove the tea down their throat.
Yeah.
What?
Unconscious people don't want tea. And that's 100% true. And I want to go back and address. There were a couple comments like that deciding you didn't want it days or years later, like. Yes, and I know that there was a whole thing in the TikTok drama world about that, and you can't have your cake and eat it too.
That's not okay.
Yeah,
you can't.
I totally agree with you. Are you guys good?
And his other comment of the animation of dripping tea. That's one of the parts
You
that
can
got
always
me.
rewarm the tea. That's what TikTok said. Yes, you can always rewarm the tea.
Who puts milk in their tea? Oh.
I used to.
You also like Arnold Palmer.
Well, you also eat Dr. Pepper beans. So
I sure the fuck do. Oh my God, the camera froze. Somebody take a screenshot of this real quick.
Oh, that froze at a great spot as well.
I got it.
All right.
At a
All
great
right.
spot.
Hang on. I before we move on, I sure the fuck do. Oh my God. Come
Run it
on.
again.
Yeah, see, you're too much energy, Dirtydan. Tone it down.
Do you guys want to move on, or do you?
It's a
Well, I mean,
monster inside me.
still-
This is not a paper.
I mean, we'll still say in segment 1, or do you want to take a break really quick?
I mean, do you want to just follow through with your killers
Yeah,
really quick,
we can
and
go
then
ahead and
we'll
do it.
take a break before segment 3 and wrap it up?
Sounds good to me. We're going to move on and talk about serial killers, and we've never really, I don't think we've talked about serial killers before to this extreme on the show. And the first one we're going to talk about is David Ray Parker. Had you guys ever heard of David Ray Parker?
I have heard the name.
Okay.
I know little to nothing more than that.
Okay. David Ray Parker was an American kidnapper, torturer, and rapist, and suspected serial killer. He was also known as the Toy Box Killer. Though no bodies were found, Ray was accused by his accomplices of killing several women and was suspected by the police to have murdered as many as 60 women from Arizona and New Mexico while he lived in Elephant Butte, New Mexico. What the Toy Box was a soundproof semi-trailer that he soundproofed. He put up a bunch of chains and braces to the wall. It had medical equipment in it. It had surgical equipment. You name it, he had it. It was reported by the FBI that once he was captured, he'd actually invested around $100,000 in his toy box. Now, he had a girlfriend that was later on his wife that would help him kidnap people and bring them back to the toy box. They would find these at local bars and so forth. Now, I'm going to play a clip. The first clip is about 1:06. Now, if you were unlucky enough to find yourself, captured and you woke up in the toy box, this would be played for you when you were awoke, because they had video cameras set up where they could monitor them from their house and so forth. But this is not this is not David Ray Parker's voice. This is a recreation from court transcripts as to what the 44-minute tape had. The real one has never been released, but this is a recreation from court transcripts.
Hello there, bitch. Are you comfortable right now? I doubt it. Wrists and ankles chained, gagged, probably blindfolded. You are disoriented and scared too, I would imagine. Perfectly normal under the circumstances. For a little while at least, you need to get your shit together and listen to this tape. It is very relevant to your situation. I'm going to tell you in detail why you have been kidnapped, what's going to happen to you, and how long you'll be here. I don't know the details of your capture, because this tape is being created July 23rd, 1993, as a general advisory tape for all future female captives. The information I'm going to give you is based on my experience dealing with captives over a period of several years. If at a future date there are any major changes in our procedures, the tape will be upgraded.
Now, I do want to warn you, if you've never heard of David Ray Parker and you start doing some research and you want to listen to the entire 44-minute recreated tape that he would play for his victims, it is really hardcore. It's hard to listen to. It mentions and he forced people into bestiality, as well as, having his girlfriend / wife involved. He had sex parties where, alleged friends of his would come over and participate as well. This guy is just all around evil. I mean,
I gotta say this, because the moment he said the date, yet again, got another fucked up guy on our hands who's doing something on my damn birthday. Stop it. And any future serial killer out there that may or may not happen to just hear this part of the show, stop doing shit on my fucking birthday. Damn it.
Now, he was when he wasn't in his toy box playing, he had a day job, and he avoided detection because he was a government worker. He was a maintenance man for the New Mexico Parks Department, and he was described by his former coworkers as a very nice and polite man. The FBI actually talked to him like in 1986 because he at that time he would make homemade sex torture equipment and sell it, and they were trying to pinpoint someone that had bought some of his stuff off of him. He lived in the middle of nowhere. He was captured because a woman stabbed his wife in the neck with an ice pick when he was going to work one day. She went to a neighbor's house. His wife survived. He was sentenced in 2001 to 224 years in prison. Shortly after that, he had a heart attack and he died. And, like I said, he would play those tapes for his victims. He was only charged in 3 cases of 3 victims, but the FBI said, based on his journals, that he was responsible for an additional 37 unknown victims, making the total 40. Now, some of these women he would kill. Most of them he set free. And he set them free because he would drug them up with barbiturates, and he would attempt to erase their memories and hypnotize them, and he would abandon them and drop them off on the side of the road. At least 2 times, law enforcement officers just stumbled upon these women, and they had no memory of what they were doing and so forth. Some people think that the audio he would play, and the creators of this series deny that they used it, but some people think that the creators of the movie Saw, the Saw movies, got the idea to play a tape based on David Ray Parker. What's your thoughts about that? Rebecca, we'll start with you.
I honestly, I had to step away.
Right. Okay.
I had to step away because that triggered some shit that
Gotcha.
I clearly haven't healed all the way yet.
Dirtydan, what about you?
No.
I'm sorry, Rebecca. I just now realized your comment. I'm sorry.
It was just like the voice and like what he said. I didn't expect that to. It's not your fault.
Okay. Well, I had another clip, but I'm going to exit out of it. Dirtydan, what's your thoughts?
It kind of makes me uncomfortable.
Okay.
Like, it's just sick and sadistic, and again, why has he got to do that dumb shit on my birthday? But like, I really, and this is out of my own morbid curiosity, I really want to just like be able to get inside of the head of someone like that one day, just to answer questions that I don't even know I have. Okay. It's it makes me feel such a weird way that I don't know how to comprehend it all.
Twice in my life, I have seen evil twice in my lifetime. The first time, it was just me and the evil guy, and the trip lasted for about 3.5 hours. He was so full of craziness and twisted, and there is no getting it. I mean, if you had weeks upon weeks, you might get in somebody's head, but there is no. I mean, when somebody looks at you and you see nothing but blackness, you know, you should be terrified.
I've stared into someone's eyes like that once, and I understand what you mean by that.
So, we're going to move on to the next one really quick. Now, this one, this guy is still, this guy is still alive today. His name, and I may mess up pronouncing his name, but I shouldn't. Pedro Rodrigues Falo. He is a Brazilian convicted serial killer, known for pursuing and killing exclusively criminals only. He's also known as I think Killer Petey.
I know this guy.
Okay. He killed an entire gang because they were responsible for the murder of his pregnant girlfriend. For that, he was officially sentenced to 71 years, but he also claimed to have killed over 100 drug dealers, rapists, and murderers. Of the 71 years, he served 34 years before he was released in 2007. In 2011, he was reprisoned again on charges of inciting a riot and killing 47 prisoners when he was in prison the first time. Most of those 47 people were rapists, and he was released in 2018 for good behavior. Before I go on, Dirty Dan, do you want to comment on anything there?
Yeah, like the real life South American Dexter.
Yes. I'm here for the vigilantes.
Well, that is an interesting point, because the character Dexter from the books and TV series is actually based on Pedro. Yep.
And that's why I know, because I researched about him when Rebecca got me into Dexter, because I never was like a big comic book kid growing up or anything. So, you know, I didn't know a lot of the Marvel DC superhero stuff, or like, you know, the good guys being the vigilantes. Like when I saw Spider-Man, like that was the first real time like it actually like got put in my head. I was like 12 or 13. So like when I got to read up on him, I think he's been officially charged with like 108 murders over the years, or 118, something like that. And basically the only wrong he ever did was not kill someone who in my eyes deserved it. Like if you had any sort of evil in your bones, body, your soul, whatever, he took care of it and did it very quick and very well.
And he was very good at it.
Yeah. And it's not like he might have played some mind games with them a little bit, but he didn't make him suffer, because he was still, you know, at the end of the day, compassionate, just displayed some of that compassion. Excuse the tiny psycho.
Oh, she's fine, man. She's fine.
In a different way than most usually do. But I fully believe that it's probably more than what he has admitted, because like he went in and just literally took out an entire gang.
Yes.
That was, it wasn't just a gang. I believe it was considered a cartel.
He was a teenager when he did that too. He was like 18, 19 years old when he took out the gang.
And I mean, I can fully understand and back the reason why. It was his pregnant girlfriend who was going to make his wife with their firstborn child. Like that's got to make homie feel away. And I think he acted perfectly.
Well, I mean,
on the way.
Can you imagine getting released from prison 2007? Okay, 4 years later, they trace 47 murders of prisoners back to you. So you go back to jail because you killed 47 people while you were in jail. But, then 7 years later, he gets released for good behavior. If you want to know what happened to him, since his release, he currently has a YouTube channel where he has declared he has retired from vigilantism. And he officially made the comment that he would not commit any more crimes. He's still a citizen of Brazil. He's considered a celebrity there, and he does his YouTube channel. On his channel, he comments on modern crimes and campaigns against gang violence, educating the public that criminal acts are not something to be proud of. And again, the character Dexter Morgan was based on him. So that was just a quick dive into serial killers. So
I'm just going to say though, and I see a lot of news articles or stories related to this. And if there was one guy who, I'm trying to think of the word that I want to use here.
Let me dumb it down for you. If there was one guy I could take out Chuck Norris, it is Killer Petey, because he took out an entire cartel.
I'm trying to remember the word for it. When your services are requested to come in and advise how to set a business up or something.
Right. Expertise.
A
Consultant.
Okay.
Business. If there is one person that should be a consultant to help with all the Latin America, South America gang rival war issues and all this shit and all the violence down there, this guy should have been called 2 decades ago and be like, hey, you can avoid this prison term if you teach us how to do what you do.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. Oh, definitely. And we may revisit serial killers. Those are just two that I thought was, interesting, because I'm a huge fan of Dexter as well. I didn't watch the revival show that came out. Well, I watched a couple of episodes that came out last year.
You haven't watched it. I honestly totally forgot about that.
Well, I have been told the ending, and I did not like the ending of it, the ending episode, but, we will probably talk about serial killers again later. We're going to take a quick break. If you're listening to the podcast, you'll hear the news. If you're watching on Twitch, we'll be back in how many minutes, Rebecca?
Let's do 10.
Okay, 10 minutes. We'll be back in 10 minutes, like she said. You're listening to Here to Chew Bubblegum.
To fall at your feet just 'cause you cut me to the bone. And I will miss the way that you kiss me. We were never carved in stone. If I don't listen to the talk of the town, now I've got to fool myself. I'll get over you. I know I will. I'll pretend my ship's not sinking, and I'll tell myself I'm over you, 'cause I'm the king of wishful thinking. Yeah, yeah.
Hey everybody, it's John the Bod, aka the Bodfather. I have a new podcast entitled Beyond the Paranormal, which is on every Tuesday night on Beyond the Paranormal YouTube page, and we'll be streaming shortly on our Facebook page as well. If you want some information on the paranormal and cryptids such as UFOs, Bigfoot, Dogman, come and check out Beyond the Paranormal every Tuesday on Beyond the Paranormal podcast YouTube site, and also soon on our Facebook page. Keep checking back, folks. We're going to have a lot of great guests, a lot of great information. Have a good one.
I'm Goose with Here to Chew Bubblegum news. A 15-foot doomsday fish washes up on a beach. Locals were flabbergasted about a 15-foot oarfish, which is rumored to be a sign of impending earthquakes, when it drifted ashore a beach in Chile. A video of the alleged oceanic bad omen is currently making waves online as viewers worry about a possible earthquake event. The massive oarfish, which is the world's largest bony fish, capable of growing to 56 feet long, washed up on Chile's Desortes Islands. Footage captured the tremor predicting fish. The sighting was rare, given the fact that the fish usually resides at depths between 656 and 3,200 feet below the ocean's surface. In fact, many people believe that oarfish strandings are signs that an earthquake is just around the corner. A Wisconsin nurse is accused of amputating a patient's foot without permission to use at a taxidermy shop. Authorities have accused the nurse of intentionally cutting off a dying patient's foot with the hopes of displaying it in her family's taxidermy shop. Mary Kay Brown, 38, allegedly told co-workers she planned to display the severed foot alongside a sign that read, "Wear your boots, kids," according to the Washington Post. Court records indicate that Brown has been charged with physical abuse of an elder person. According to the arrest affidavit obtained by the Post, Brown allegedly admitted to amputating the foot of an unidentified 62-year-old male patient at the Spring Valley Health and Rehab Center in Spring Valley, Wisconsin, earlier this year. The victim was admitted to the facility in March due to a fall at home and severely frostbitten feet. Workers at the nursing home described the patient's feet as black like a mummy, according to the Washington Post. The victim's health continued to decline from time to time after he was admitted. He suffered another fall out of bed, further damaging his right foot, according to the outlet. This prompted Brown to seek permission from an administrator regarding its amputation. KSTP-TV reports that an administrator denied her request. Brown had no doctor's order to conduct the amputation. Brown also did not have the victim's permission to amputate his foot. Administrators of the nursing home agreed it was outside of the scope of Brown's practice to conduct such a procedure, and a doctor's order was necessary prior to any amputation. Still, Brown forged ahead with her plans to amputate the foot using gauze scissors. Two other nurses witnessed the incident. The man did not appear to be in any pain during the procedure and suffered minimal blood loss, but also noted it was not a very good amputation, citing one of the witnessing nurses. A girl steals $10,000 from her grandparents and passes it out at school. A 14-year-old student at a middle school in Florida is reportedly facing grand theft after officials say she stole over $10,000 from her grandparents and handed it out to fellow classmates. The girl, a student at Lake Weir Middle School in Summerfield, handed out hundreds of dollars each to some of her fellow students, according to an arrest report. Deputies responded to the school the same day, as school officials also found $2,500 in the girl's backpack. Investigators said the student claimed that the money was gave to her by a former student, but they later learned that the girl had stolen around $13,500 from her grandmother's safe. The girl now faces a possible grand theft charge. "We would like to recover this money for the grandparents," a school official said. "If you speak with your children and if they have received any money, please turn it in to our school resource officers." Administrators added that the kids who returned the stolen money will not face any consequences. Officials had recovered about $700 of the money that had been handed out, and the $2,500 recovered from the girl's backpack were returned to the grandmother. The brother of murdered pageant queen JonBenet Ramsey has broken his silence following a major update in the investigation into her death. John Andrew Ramsey was 23 years old when his half-sister was found dead in the basement of his family's Boulder, Colorado home on December 26, 1996, along with his parents and siblings who have been vocal criticizing the investigation process, as John has refused to give up the pursuit to find the 6-year-old's killer. They have openly campaigned for an outside law enforcement agency to take the case off the hands of the Boulder Police Department following a string of dead ends. An online petition pleading Governor Jared Polis gained thousands of signatures as the family begged to use the latest DNA technology. And it seems like their prayers have been answered ahead of the 26th anniversary of John Bonet's notorious murder. Authorities announced cops and the district attorney's office will team up with an expert code case team to help find answers. The Colorado case review team, made up of professional investigators, analytics, and forensic experts from across the state, will join the probe next year. The alliance will bring policing partners and leading DNA experts together to hopefully find John Bonet's killer. The news was welcomed by Americans keen to find the exclusive murderer who strangled the beauty queen to death. And finally, in entertainment news, comedian Andy Dick was arrested after he allegedly stole power tools in Santa Barbara. Andy Dick is facing more legal trouble after getting arrested in Santa Barbara, California. The Santa Barbara Police Department confirmed to People magazine that the comedian was arrested recently. His bail was set at $50,000. The homeowners informed officers that they did not know Dick and he was not authorized to be on their property. Dick was allegedly stealing power tools from the home. Dick's public defender, Brian Mathis, who is representing him, shared a statement with People magazine following his arrest. And the statement said, "We are confident additional facts will come to light supporting Mr. Dick as this case moves forward." The arrest comes amid a growing list of alleged sex offenses and other crimes on Dick's part, including several instances of public groping, some of which have been caught on camera. For Here to Chew Bubblegum News, I am Goose.
You're listening to Here to Chew Bubblegum. If Abraham Lincoln were alive, he'd listen, but he's dead.
Take a lighter look into the darker side of the world. Join Elliot, Gertie, and Beagle as they jump into the dark abyss of hauntings, fables, UFOs, and beyond. The Spooky Family Podcast. You can find them where you listen to quality podcasts.
She grew up in the Indiana town, had a good-looking mom who never was around. She grew up tall, she grew up right with the Indiana boys on the Indiana night.
And welcome back to Here to Chew Bubblegum. We're all here, we're all set. Dirtydan, what have you been doing during the break?
Went out and make sure she was okay. Handled the dogs with her. Handled the Beano. Got her situated.
Now, you know,
took my pants off.
There's a lot of there, and that surprised me. We didn't have an email about you if you wear pants during the show or not. I think that you guys need more dogs.
Goose, I say this with all due respect. Go fuck yourself.
No more dogs. I'm maxed out. I'm good for a while. Like, we have to get into the new routine and kind of the flow of things with the horses and the dogs following me to go do the horses. And so I have a chicken in my shack. So Xena went after the chicken. I found the chicken laying in the woods. Both wings were bleeding. She's missing some feathers. So she is she is the chicken is the mascot for the flamingos now. So that's a thing. Xena tore her ACL, so she's on leash restriction and can't do anything crazy. Grace snapped her canine. Yes, Miss Cluckensworth. I told him that was the name.
Oh, you kept it?
Yeah.
Miss
Oh, that makes me so happy. I finally got a name in this place.
Yeah.
That is awesome.
Miss Cluckensworth. And Peggy for short. And so she's now the Shack chicken. Cindy found me flamingo print chicken diapers, so that's coming soon. And then with the horses coming, Bindi was a little bit, she's not handling it very well. It's taking her some time to kind of like settle in here.
Right.
So I had 2 dragons on my hands, 4 dogs, 5 chickens, and plus an injured chicken, 2 cats. I'm good for a while.
Now, shit, miss, I still didn't pick that name. This is the first animal name that I've gotten to pick that is stuck. Although I think our one dog that we rehomed would have stayed the name I picked, which was Trigger, because he triggered everyone and everything.
He was such a good boy, though. He just wanted love.
And love he has gotten, and he is doing so well that he is more than doubled in size, Rebecca. But the only other animal we need is one more horse.
I do need another horse.
That I can name Mac, because it'll be a Mac truck that I can ride on.
Well, actually, I need 2 horses, but it's fine.
Hey, dogs, horses, cats, whatever you've got, take them on down to Short Farms. They'll take them in, no questions asked.
With a hefty donation to build a fucking fence.
Now, I will tell you that we do have a lot of wild horses back in my area, back here. I don't know if you guys knew that or not, but we actually do.
No Mustangs, thank you.
So I just wanted you to know that.
She did the tongue lip bite thing. Thanks, Goose. Go fuck yourself.
Well, I mean, no. Most of these, well, the ones that I have encountered are super friendly. And there was actually, I think back in the spring, there was a guy that was charged for turning loose some horses to join these wild horses and so forth. So I will say Goose's application put his foot.
The horse that we got to join Dixie was supposed to be the well-behaved one.
Right.
And I got to give our crazy mare credit where credit is due. Though she is an absolute fucking nightmare to try and get on and off a trailer. She doesn't like them. I can't blame her there. She has gone through some shit to where she is an angel right now and has been pretty much through this whole process aside from getting onto the trailer.
So,
although that was like the least amount of time that I've taken to put her on a trailer. So we're getting better. I mean, she just likes to stand up and go backwards. It's fine.
I am glad that they're there. They're settling in. You guys got them. I love watching the Short Farms TikToks.
Yeah, we're doing all sorts of stuff over there now. I actually can I do a shout out for myself?
Yes, please, by all means.
Can I be selfish? Can my TikToker of the week be Short.Farms?
If that's what you want it to be, we will definitely make that the TikToker of the week.
Because we've been doing a lot, and I've been doing a lot with the Buy Me a Coffee page that I have kind of set up as my website for that. And there's like this gallery feature, so I've been posting some like milestone pictures and kind of like trying to keep it as like a journal and get more involved with that now that the horses are here and I'm out at the bar and we just had a lesson on hay bales. I try and do a couple lives over there. But yeah, there's some really cool things that are coming on Short Farms and some more content. And what?
I was saying everybody can see the struggle it is to get water.
Yeah, we posted the thing a lot. There's some questions I got to answer about the water.
I saw that.
But yeah, so it's growing. It was stagnant for a while, but it's coming back.
Well, my comment is $1.25 filled up that whole tank.
Yeah.
So it's actually only about $1.10 $10, $12 if you break out the what 25 cents worth gets you, but you got to hit the stop button and it doesn't offer a refund. So it's $1.25 for 310 gallons of water.
That's a damn good deal. That was the first thing I thought.
That fucking water bill. I remember when we were in Lexington at Largo, we were paying fucking like $70 a month for water. Shit. It's $1.25. Don't give me no shit.
But you got to factor in the fuel costs and the time and everything. So the price really hasn't changed that much. It's just the upfront cost is less.
I think the price has changed.
Son, have you seen the price of diesel fuel?
Yes, I have. Yes, I have. But
so if there's going to be any donations, please make to the Short Farms Diesel Fund.
you do have a friend named Mr. Luke Fugit that can teach you how to make your own diesel fuel.
I know that, but I don't know if his process quite generates all that is used yet.
Oh, I'm sure it probably will, because this is Luke Fugit we're talking about.
I know. We really got when he does the demonstration, it shouldn't be there. Like, I just got to get him out here so we can do it here so that I can start doing that.
Oh, you have definitely got it.
I think we're also gonna do like a build a barn competition, and we're just gonna get like the Amish here. And there was, I think it was Vinona's son. She was like, "Yeah, my son can build a better barn than the Amish." I was like, "We're gonna have a fucking barn building competition. Like, we'll get bleachers. We'll watch that shit go down."
There you go. Sell tickets, sell admission.
Yeah, like the whole thing. We'll get concession stands. I'll get the porta potties back over here. There'll be a whole thing. We'll watch the barns get built. They have chainsaw competitions. Why can't we have fucking barn building competitions?
There you go. That's what I was getting ready to say. You could have Dirtydan fixing his famous barbecue, sell it. So I'll come down and I'll get a little box and be going around. Hot peanuts. Get you hot peanuts here. Hot peanuts, $1.
I will never sell food, because I enjoy doing that. If someone wants to make a donation for it, that's fine. But I'll never ask someone to pay for it because
buy the brisket.
because that's when the fun gets taken out of it for me.
That's why we don't have a food truck.
Yeah, I've been told that I need one, and I've had offers to have me get one, or someone invest in one for me a couple different times, and I thank you, but I will always politely and respectfully say no, because I won't be able to enjoy it anymore.
I'm here for it.
There is not many like you, Dirtydan. You are a good man.
Oh, thank you, Goose.
Back scratcher. So we are in segment 3. Rebecca, I'm going to turn it over to you to read some question of the week responses and give us a new question of the week.
All right. So I was prepared. I have the question of the week responses. So the question of the week was this is for last week. What will happen to those that choose to separate from society in order to protect their ancestral purity? And we did not get that many answers on this one. But I'm working to find out. I truly don't know. They will be protected living outside the matrix if they have a close, small circle. They will be ostracized. They will get what they've been seeking their entire existence, inner peace and wholeness. They will move on. They will find peace. One question was, are they physically moving to escape a void, or have they also done the emotional and spiritual work to be free? They will be living their best human experience. They will truly ascend from the 3D matrix bullshit. I would guess it would fully depend on how many choose that path. So those were some of the responses.
What would you, Dirtydan, to answer that? Well, what's your thoughts on that?
I think they're going to end up thriving. There's 9 ancestral tendencies or laws that they all kind of live by. So someone who I found from TikTok is called the Liver King. And if anyone's not familiar with him, I suggest go look him up, opinions aside, because, there's controversy around anyone and everyone. He does bring it back and overall live and follow those rules, laws, tendencies, whatever you want to call it, pretty well. And it all stemmed from a health issue with one of his kids. And it saved his kid's life. And he says it saved his life. And it's pretty interesting to watch and pretty neat and kind of curious about it. And I think after I do more research or get a better understanding, might go towards that a little bit, because I think at least my Rebecca remembers from another working on the farm day that my body has a pretty good muscle memory, and I feel like living that way more would probably do me a lot of good. So I mean, I think I'll be kind of following that down the road more. So I guess that would make me separate from society.
So what will happen to those people that choose to do that?
Like I said, I think they're going to thrive, because if they connect with those old roots, you got to think all this shit that wasn't around back then. But that is a double-edged sword of both good and bad for today. You know, they did it, so clearly it couldn't have all been bad. You know, I'm not going to do what the Minions did and try and beat a grizzly bear with a fly swatter. But you know, I do think that it worked, and it worked well enough to where time allowed evolution to become where we're at now. So maybe instead of trying to keep evolving and overcomplicate it, we need to devolve.
And that involves separating away from
Right.
the materialistic side of things and living a more minimalistic lifestyle.
Right.
I'm here for it. Too
Me
much
too.
shit on our counters.
Me too.
Part of
Okay,
that means
so I
eating
have-
raw meat.
I have two. If you guys want to pick again, I do have an A and a B.
Okay, everybody on Twitch, get ready. We have an A and a B. Again, you're going to pick the question of the week. Dirty Dan, before they do that, yes, you had your hand raised.
Option C, please.
Okay. So option A, question A is, how do we come to terms with those who cannot see what is possible?
That's a good one.
That's a controversial one.
And they're all controversial questions.
Some more than others.
And question B is, what is the most appropriate way of handling violence and crime in a civilized society?
Oh, that is
The Purge.
I agree.
I'm going to go with option A because B was way too easy to answer there.
You can't vote. Your vote don't count. So if you're watching on Twitch
I'm
right
used to
now, A or B, let us know what you think. We'll go to, what do you want to, what did we go to last week? Like the 4, the first one that got, or did we go to 5? The first one that got 5 votes.
We were going to go to 10 and then we called it at
Okay.
6.
Yeah. Okay. So, yes.
So
we
question
did.
A was, how do we come to terms with those who cannot see what is possible? And question B is, what is the most appropriate way of handling violence and crime in a civilized society? We got one for A.
Purge.
Got 2 for A.
got
Yep.
two for A.
2 for A, 1 for
We got
B.
one for B.
So we'll just go to 5 this week. Or do y'all want to go to 10?
What do you want to do, Goose? You want to go to 5 or you want to go to 10? You want to go to 4? You want to go to 6?
Let's go to 5.
You want to do 7? Make it weird?
We're going to go with 5 this week, Charlie. 5 this week. Yes, cue the Jeopardy music.
B, we got another one for B.
Oh, so the next one that comes in is the one that picks it.
Oh, so we're going to 3?
So, no.
Hey.
So, A it is. A it is. So that this week's question of the week will be
A.
Which
It'll be
was,
me not being able to type on my fucking keyboard.
as she's typing,
It is, it's A. It's how do we come to terms with those who cannot see what is possible?
Well, I mean,
That beats me to it.
so I feel like, because I've been thinking about this now, because B was way too easy to answer, is that like you almost have to go through like the stages of the grieving process almost with that.
well, to a point. But, you know, oops.
I mean, I agree with James there. You know, show them it's possible, but like, there's going to be some emotions that you feel before that, and it's going to be confusion and anger and sadness, and then eventually working through it and then moving past it.
Well, I can see that, you know, but I mean, there comes a time that you have to realize you're only responsible for yourself. You know, you can't make someone feel a certain way like you do, you know.
But how do you like come to terms with that? Like, because I know a lot of people, and this is a good question, because a lot of people talk about that and go through that, especially with like the start of the pandemic and like that huge divide that happened, and now with like all of the conspiracies and kind of what people believe and what they want to do with their lives and the direction that it wants to go. People are losing family.
Yeah.
Like they don't longer talk to it. So like, how do you come to terms with no longer talking to those people anymore? Like them, like my best friend fucking cut ties with me because I voted for fucking Trump way back when.
Let's see, that's, you know, that's,
I forgot about that.
I have, well, I mean, you know, for me, I've had this happen I've had it happen recently. And, you just, my damn self, I don't know what my phone's doing. I had it happen recently. I mean, and even though it's, you know, sad and it hurts, you eventually heal and move on. You know, if you can accept someone else's opinion and you can be civil and be friends to you, be friends to them, and they can't be friends with you, then, you know, they really wasn't that good of a friend to begin with. And they are selfish and self-centered.
But at the same time, when that gets, you know, brought up or vocalized, don't let that be turned back onto you then for not supporting or going against yada yada. Like, because again, it's yourself and themselves. You're not responsible for them and vice versa.
Right.
Like, you got to understand, like, it's going to be uncomfortable for a little bit.
That's what she said.
There's no way around it. It's when you get into it, it's going to be a little uncomfortable. And that's just part of it, Goose. Damn it.
That is that's probably like my favorite question of the week so far right there, because, you know, that has so many levels, so many meanings to so many different people. It could mean, you know, but it always amazes me how, you know, like I said, you can accept someone's opinion, you can still be friends, you can be civil to them, but they can't be the same to you in return. So
just spit on it, James.
Well, I don't know what you guys are talking about, but you have fun there. No, I do know what you're talking about. So. Give me 1 second here. I was trying to get the question of the week, trying to get a screenshot of it to add on the log, and my cell phone, evidently, I don't know why, but it is.
I'll just type it to you, Goose.
It is not taking pictures. So, got it that time. I had to reset it. So
come on, Tony, stop fucking with this shit.
If you guys are listening, please, you know, listening behind the scenes and listening to all of our shows, make our cell phones work, because that is important for us to have. Moving on.
I'm really okay with it not working.
Well, I would prefer mine to work. So, I mean, you know, because I've got addicted to making TikToks lately. So,
here's my thing. Like, if you want to keep your job to watch us, make our shit work properly.
Exactly.
Make something to fucking watch. God damn.
Exactly. Hey, if I find out the agent's name, I will definitely name it, the one that's assigned to listen to our show. And, you know, just like the Queen said, make sure our stuff works. I want to remind everyone to be sure to check out upcoming episodes of Just Listen on YouTube, Cooking with Dirtydan on TikTok, and be sure to check out the lovely Rebecca Short. On TikTok, you can find her as Flockingqueen and Queen of the Flock 138 on Twitch. Also, I have a new YouTube channel. YouTube.com/static and noise 1776. So check that out as well.
And that's your YouTube channel?
Yes, that is one that I've set up because my TikTok got banned and I'm posting stuff on there. So,
welcome to the big leagues, Goose.
well, I should be back on TikTok. I should be able to post tomorrow. And when we end the show and go backstage, I want to talk to you just a little bit. Yes, static and noise. I think the word is actually wrote out and A-N-D.
It's an ampersand. It's an ampersand, Goose.
Okay.
Yes.
That's what that is.
Okay, all right. Head is an ampersand. Static and noise 1776. So be sure to check that out and follow me. I post videos that people send me talking about good cops, bad cops, pretty much everything. The video,
I like you with a positive one.
I love that one. I mean that guy put that's how I used to do it. You know, there's some similarities there. The video that actually got me banned on TikTok was 2 police officers from Texas saving a guy from a burning truck.
So Goose, I want to see if Rebecca's reaction to this. On your page, the 4th video down is an update on a Columbia County, Florida deputy's arrest on a blind man for having a walking cane.
Yes, it is.
Ah! Okay, hold on a second. So we were coming back with water, okay? And we're driving through Richmond, like Main Street, and there's this blind guy with this cane on the sidewalk, and I'm like, all right,
with a hiking backpack.
He's got a hiking backpack and like he's clearly like he does this, right? This is his jam,
right?
And he's got this it's almost like a workout weight belt, like an old school leather one, and he's got like all of these accoutrements on it, right? And in the front is like a fucking 6-shooter, and I'm like, I feel a way about that. Dirtydan's like, I mean, he seemed to be doing pretty good with the stick. And I'm like, no, you didn't see the fucking 6-shooter on his belt? And he's like, oh, no, I missed that. I'm like, what's he shooting at? Like, what are you shooting at? And he's like, well, if he's got like a dog on him or something, or like something's attacking him. I'm like, so you're going to, a blind guy's going to shoot it?
And I said, I'm not saying he's not going to also harm himself unintentionally in the terms, but, if it makes him feel better about having protection, then, let him be.
I'm just a little worried about the beyond what you're shooting at. You can't see your backdrop. I went to shooting safety school. You gotta.
Maybe it's a Wile E. Coyote gun where he just pulls it out, pulls the trigger, and a little flag comes out and goes bang.
now that's a shot in the dark. Just remember,
shot in the dark. That's what James said.
Just remember, every round you fire has the capacity to kill someone or injure them 1 mile away.
Oh. Right.
Or better.
I feel a way about if you can't see if you're on the sidewalk or not, you probably shouldn't be having a firearm.
Yeah. And I'm going to hopefully today I'm going to try to call the Columbia County Sheriff's Department again, and I've called earlier in the week, but not been able to really get anybody. So I figured I would try on a Sunday.
Hey,
so
I'd just like to mention though. And this was a story from long ago.
Okay.
Hold on, I got something on the blind guy really quick. Kristen said on TikTok, she said he might just have it as a funny prop just to get reactions. That could be totally true.
Just remember that you don't need a gun to be disruptive and cause a problem and to do something criminal, because that guy was walking up the street, had a gun, blind as a bat. Which is a terrible saying, but blind, obviously couldn't see anything because his stick was going a mile a minute. And there's people in Florida that rob a Wendy's drive-through with an alligator.
Yeah,
or not really blind. That we could go down that road.
And there's, on the video that you guys were talking about that I posted, that pisses me off. That burns me up. That guy did nothing wrong. He's walking down. He even shows them. It is a folded up walking cane. And he pulled it out so fast, even when he was reaching behind, the female officer did not tell him to stop, do not, reach. He had it out. If it was a gun, he could have dropped her. She did nothing. But they also lied on his arrest report. She did. And that burns me up. Now, I have had, let me get your guys' opinion on this and people on Twitch. I do
it
have
must
people,
be good because he's stumbling.
Well,
I know. Get excited.
I do have people that send me videos, and I tag them and give them a shout out if they want me to. I've been thinking about stopping doing that because some of these people have got some heat from sending me videos. It started out with one, it went to like 4 people getting heat. And what's your guys' thoughts on that? You know, I know that they can, you know, think for themselves and give me permission if they want to, but I would feel bad if something happened to them based on me giving them a shout out and so forth.
I mean, if you can't stand the heat, get out the kitchen. But at the end of the day, like you said, it's their choice.
Right.
They have the consent for that tea they sent you, and you know it's up to them. And if they get heat for it, whoever's giving them heat, sit the fuck down and shut the fuck up.
What about you, Rebecca? What's your thoughts?
It's your fucking page.
Right. And well, you know, and I had someone. I had someone ask me. I actually went back. I don't know if you guys listened to last week's show. I actually was talking about someone actually bleeped their name out of the show. That's the first time I've ever bleeped anything on the Here to Chew Bubblegum show. But I actually used a bleep button just to.
Well, not the radio show.
No, well, yeah. Come on, man. Come on. That's. But I actually did bleep their name out last week just because I didn't want, you know, to give them a plug and make them come after us on this platform.
I feel like if they send it to you privately, then yes, keep it private. But if like the video, like I tagged you in the comments, if you use my comment to do that, like it's out there on the internet. But like if they send you a private video, obviously don't do that. But like otherwise, yeah, if it's already public, fuck it. It's your page. And
thank you, Mr. CP3O. I totally agree with you there. But I just wanted your guys' thoughts on that. I mean, I really appreciate all the followers because my personal TikTok page, the original one, it blew up when I started posting. I mean, I'm like over 44,000 people, but I'm also close to losing that account. So when I do get access to it back tomorrow, I think that, and I have talked to some people in the legal field, and some of the, there was one video that I posted on the backup page yesterday, the Goose backup page. And I put a disclaimer in front of it and, you know, even worded it. So, you know, hey, this is for educational purposes and so forth. And that's what it is, because my entire intent of showing, and I know this pisses a lot of people off, of showing bad police officers is to show people that watch these videos, number one, how lousy they done, but number two, and the number two is the most important thing, to educate people that watch these what traits and characters to look for in a bad police officer in case you have the unfortunate experience of having to deal with them in your personal life. You'll know how to react, what to do to protect yourself. That's the whole reason I started doing it. So.
Right. And I'll stick to what I said about that from the get-go when we first talked about is if you are upset and feel the need to call someone out for shedding light on something that was wrong, then maybe you should take a step back, shut the fuck up, and realize that, is one of them going to be me because I fucked up? Yeah.
Well, I think that I'm going to, when I do get the access back to post and message and so forth, I am going to do what the Queen recommended a while back. No. I am not saying take on a cop. I am saying, you know, video, record. I'm not saying take on one. So, no, that's not at all what I'm saying. So,
the rooster ran into my truck.
I think it's more to just like be aware and know your rights and how to handle yourself in the situation so that you don't have to take on a cop.
Right.
Like they don't. The power that they think that they have, they really don't. Like if you know your shit, they can't really do much if you're truly not doing anything wrong.
Oh yeah, and you're totally. And in the case of the blind man from Columbia, Florida, he did nothing wrong. I mean, this guy's legally blind. He walked to go to jury duty, which was canceled, and then on the way back home, he gets hassled and kidnapped, more or less, because those deputies kidnapped him. There's no doubt in my mind they kidnapped him, and I hope he gets millions and millions and millions of dollars from that.
I mean, first off, the fact that he's legally blind and was still going to jury duty, kudos to him, because how are you going to see the evidence? But,
yeah,
good on you for being an upstanding citizen following your duty.
Yeah. And, what I was going to say was earlier there, I will probably post clips of videos that are posted on the YouTube page for a week or two on my TikTok once I get access back, because I want all the red shit, check marks and all that stuff to disappear. Because I know as soon as I post one thing, no matter what it is, it's going to get removed, the account's lost, and all that. So, but I didn't mean to go off on a tyrant there.
It happens.
Or tirade, whatever it's called. Dirtydan, you want to close us out and tell us about some organizations that are near and dear to your heart?
Yeah, and I'm going to choose to still stand by one of them for their message and not an individual.
That's totally fine with me. I back you 100%, sir.
And I think now more than ever that Adventures with Purpose and the collective group that is all that, because it's not just one person, needs to be rallied behind so that they continue their mission and the lane that they've gone down in life to help bring the greater good to families who are and communities and loved ones who are hurting. So I'm not going to tell you to go check out their website or check out their YouTube. Well, you can, because Doug just posted a video yesterday of just another reason why they need the help to do what they do, because they suffered a wheel off on their trailer going to another location. So just sit back and watch and wait. And then when the next thing is posted, their next mission they are going on is posted, rally back behind them again. Don't forget our very own DJ Nikki with Carbon Capture Shield. If you don't follow them on Telegram, I highly suggest you do that. The last week, they've actually had a couple really cool articles come out with some of the work they've done. And then Goose's absolute favorite to say that he practices all the time, Till Valhalla Project. And the TVT team, you can go at Till Valhalla or tvp.com. Spread the message, spread the awareness, spread the word. As we mentioned last week about seeing someone with that other shirt, that's always a message that needs to be spread. And I'm sure everybody can feel that one close to home with either friends or family that has or is serving. And thank you, veterans. Again, Veterans Day was just this past Friday. Thank you for your uncanny sacrifice and everything that you have given up for us to be able to do something like this show.
Very well said. Rebecca, before I say what I say to end each week, do you want to officially announce the TikToker of the week? Because we never officially did that.
Short.farms.
Short.farms. Sorry.
Say that one more time. Dirtydan interrupted you.
It's short.farms, and it's our journey on getting the property and fulfilling our purpose and our dream and what we want to do, and bringing the animals here and all of the shenanigans that go along with it.
No more dogs.
Yeah, no more dogs.
Maybe there will be dogs. You never know.
Shut up, Goose.
Oh, that'll do it for this week. But remember, we all have a voice. If we stand together, we can make the world a better place. We'll see you next week. And until then, so long for now.
And maybe I'm not leaving. Maybe I'm just going home.
Thanks for listening to Here to Chew Bubblegum. You can always call, text, or leave a voicemail for Here to Chew Bubblegum at 606-373-3396. Tune in next time as we dive deeper into things the government doesn't want us to know.